quarterback sneak is anything close to what Kelsey had said during the season, where he's like, yeah, like 92% chance we're gonna run it through your throat. It's a broken play.
What's going on, Philadelphia? Hello, everybody. I am John Barchard at home, getting ready to prepare to leave for Chicago. Vince Quinn in D.C. as we are going to keep the offseason moving in many different places and spaces and get used to that. But obviously, we miss hanging out at Sandbox Studio. Taylor Kredatus along with us, too, in the internet ether. And the only thing on my mind, as I have seen Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni give their end-of-the-year speeches, and good for them. I'm sure they have some great quotes in there as well. But I'm already on to free agency here, Vince Quinn. It's going to come up a lot faster than I think we believe. We will get into that for sure. But you promised the people that you would yell at me for some particular reason, and we can just get into it right now. So how are you, buddy?
Some particular reason is you wanted to put Nick Sirianni back on play calling, which he sucked at and has no business doing. Yeah, it's like, I hate that idea, dude. I have no interest in Sirianni doing that. He's comfortable. He's comfortable with what he does. He's on the big picture. He's managing things within the game. Timeouts are usually good. As much as I get mad occasionally during the 2-minute drills, they usually execute and get something on them way more often than not. Challenges, like all the things. It's funny because we just watched Andy Reid win the Super Bowl, and we talk about him as one of the greatest coaches of all time. But also, Andy Reid really sucked at a lot of that stuff for a very long time. And if not for Patrick Mahomes, that's his legacy. I mean, that's how people more often than not would have. I'm just telling you, that's how. Not that it's right. I'm just saying that's what he would have been remembered as, is the guy that couldn't manage a timeout and always blew challenges and whatever. So, I mean, for Sirianni to be that guy, be very good at being that guy, it's part of the reason they got to the Super Bowl this year. I don't see any reason to change that. I have no interest in Sirianni as a play caller. None.
It's hilarious that you're comparing Andy Reid's evolvement of his coaching style. And yes, we killed him all of the time for clock management and God knows what else. And he finally evolved to be like, you know what? I can handle most of this. To the point when he went to Kansas City, he even ditched the front office stuff because he told himself, you know what? This is too much for me right now. And I just want to go back to designing plays and calling, and he did. And you know what he did after that? He took control of the front office and went and got Patrick Mahomes because he had a fuck enough and he knew how to pick his groceries this time. So the same with a 37-year-old Nick Sirianni coming. Was he younger than that? No. So he's like 39 now, right? He's had 41? 2 years. He's had to 41. Okay. Yes. So you come in right away and you do this stereotypical thing that old head coaches do, which is you start calling the plays, you develop and design everything, you're taking on all this stuff with, by the way, no veteran presence really outside of Stoutland on his first year, right? And you're relying on Shane Steichen and all these other guys and Brian Johnson. And then you get to the point of the season where you're like, well, shit, there's just so much to teach these guys, including Jalen Hurts, these young wide receivers, all of this. I don't even know what Quez Watkins is doing here, and now we know. We'll get into that later. But, you know, that's a lot to take on in your first year. Your second year, Shane's been a good play caller. He's got a good rapport with Jalen Hurts. No big deal. But it's still his offense under all of this. You don't think Nick Sirianni can evolve, and trust me, I'm not comparing him to Andy Reid, but he can evolve way past where he was 2 years ago. And if you're getting frightened Pants McGee over the fact that, like, you know, like he might be just as good as Shane or better. And there's other people that he trusts to manage the other stuff, which is where I think we're at now. Then I don't see an issue at all. Unless you think that there is no improvement whatsoever that Nick Sirianni can do. And I was in the Discord yelling at Jay Camp because I don't think he makes a lot of the same mistakes with a lot of the same stuff that you just said, including challenges and timeouts and whatever. But don't you dare bring Andy Reid's clock management or whatever after he just fucking kicked that dude's ass with clock management the entire third and fourth quarter
later.
and evolved into a Super Bowl champion.
20 years later, though. I mean, the amount of time that he had to put in to get to this point, it's been a long time. Like, for right now, with what Nick Sirianni is, first off, Steichen, if you're comparing what Shane Steichen did last season and this season, anything Nick Sirianni did, Sirianni was on the way out. We're talking about, is Nick Sirianni a dead man? He's going to lose to Detroit, who doesn't have a win. That's last season. Shane Steichen put up 35 points in the Super Bowl. I think we're underrating what Shane Steichen could do as a play caller. So,
my God. Can we remove the phrase Shane Steichen did? It's fucking absurd. Shane Steichen was a part of, called the game of, and any one of us could have called that game against the Chiefs because, I don't know if you know this or not, there's no pass rush to deal with for either side of the ball.
Well, for either side.
Chill out, okay? Like, it's
the Super Bowl.
Yes, for either side. I'm including both sides.
Yeah, maybe this is the day. Let's keep it on the Andy Reid train, right? What's the thing that comes out after this as well? It's Eric Bieniemy. It's all the soft scripting stuff. Apparently, a lot of coaching staffs, it's okay. You've got one guy that is your play caller, and while the defense is on the field, you're talking about all these different tendencies that you just saw. You're trying to plan things ahead, all that kind of stuff. If Sirianni's involved in all those things, and I would assume he is already, and he keeps doing that, just keep getting better at that. Like, you're influencing what the plays are called, but you're letting somebody else do the play calling. So you can look at the big picture stuff and go, hey, we need to tweak this. We need to tweak that. Maybe at halftime it's more of this. Oh, I need a timeout soon. Let me make sure that I'm ready to do that. Because if he's getting into that role and he's already very good at it, then I'm good with that. Like, I don't see a need to change that. And I think you're also going to get better minds in here if you give them the play calling responsibility. So I don't want to take that from anybody.
But he probably will. He probably will. Because that's how you keep this thing rolling. What's wrong with handing off play calling duties to Brian Johnson? And by the way, if you don't know this by now that it's Thursday, Adam Schefter said it's pretty much a done deal. They've got to go through the cycle. I know Jeff McLean's been mentioning Vance Joseph, which would be a hilarious change in defensive philosophy all of a sudden, and probably people crave it with the same results. But man, like, that's okay. If you're there now and you have even more guys on your staff that you have trusted, beyond the names that we've probably heard, Kevin, the other passing game coordinator who I can't, Patullo, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is also heavily considered here. So whatever is the new influx of coaches that they're going to get from this, hand it off. Hey, Mike from Liquid Death suggested a long time ago, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. And even so, because Nick Sirianni's even said so, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. It doesn't. It really is just who is the best person to do that at the time. Is that Nick Sirianni? Is that Brian Johnson? Is that fucking Jeff Stoutland if he wants to put his hat in the ring? I don't know what it is, but that part of the game doesn't matter as much. And if you're going with experience on that, you have to go with Nick Sirianni because Brian Johnson's never called it at an NFL level. And if you're going to just throw him into the pool and say, good luck, I don't think that's a good thing.
Because I'm changing up two things then. Otherwise, I'm asking Sirianni to be the play caller and get away from all the stuff that he's been doing all the time. And now I'm working on Brian Johnson doing a whole other thing that Sirianni was already really good at.
That's part of the job.
You're getting Jordan Mailata and moving him to right guard for no reason. You know what I mean? It's just like, just stay left tackle, man. You're a left tackle. It's fine. So I don't want to change any of that stuff. I'm great with Brian Johnson calling the plays. If he's Mr. Jalen Hurts advocate and he's a big reason that Jalen and his impact in the running game and working that with Stoutland and all that stuff, do that, man. He gets it. Great. And now grow the pass offense. Like I said last episode, like open up the passing game for Hurts and the hots and all the things that you want. But man, structurally, yeah, I don't change anything with Sirianni on game day. I think he's phenomenal there, and that's exactly where I want him to be.
I don't think he can't do what you're asking him to do in terms of being a fantastic game manager while doing the same thing. It's actually less communication and less bullshit to deal with if you're saying, hey, I'm going to run this on this next series with tempo, et cetera, et cetera. You pull yourself away completely from the defense. That's why I think, even though we're saying Denard Wilson, I'd still really love a veteran presence at some point, or like somebody that kind of understands this, where you can just go and do your thing, much like Sean McVay does, and just gets ready for the next series. I also believe that you have to, the clip that was going around after the Super Bowl during the review, where you see Nick Sirianni trying to point and taunt Chiefs players, and Jalen Hurts grabs him and is like, hey, man, stop fucking doing that shit. I know we're not saying this out loud, but Jalen Hurts is also partly an OC, and he's also partly a coach in this thing, and that has to evolve too. So Sirianni and Hurts' relationship, as this offense evolves in it, and please God, yes, as Vince said, throw some goddamn hot reads in there. I don't know who set it the precedent now because I'm getting it from both ends on our Discord and our text line on Twitter. I don't know who set the precedent, but get it the fuck out of there, whoever did. So if I placed it on Shane incorrectly, I'm sorry. But like, I am blown away by the amount of credit Shane Steichen has got in the last couple of days. And like, I am not saying he wasn't good at his job. He was good, but there isn't a lot of creativity in here. And you need Jalen to essentially take the offense over because the offense is already basically his. It is an RPO system. It is, passes and runs already built in. It is a lot of reacting to what you see out there. Like I would feel way more comfortable about like, okay, we got to do this from the OC where Jalen has a very comfortable 1/3 voice of that offense, hopefully by next year. Maybe that's in another year or two, but like this is still defined as, Sirianni, Stoutland, and Hurts' offense and somebody that they're willing to accept and trust with good ideas. And outside of that, I mean, what could Nick possibly fuck up with play calling? That he passes too much? That he throws or runs too much?
Yeah,
like,
well, that's what he did.
I just don't understand where
a lot better,
the big issue is.
Like when he started the season last year, yeah, that was the problem. Like Jalen was not ready to pass all the time, and he had him passing all the time, and they sucked. And then Steichen obviously was the single blatant focal point that turned that entire season around and changed the trajectory of the franchise. He did that. So, like, if Sirianni's calling plays all last season and this team wins 6 games, is Jalen Hurts getting another starting shot, or are they going after somebody else? Are they drafting somebody? Like, this thing could have looked totally different for Jalen. He may never have even gotten a chance. I mean, really. Like, I just Steichen changed so much with when he came in last year and going on that
Vince
run.
Quinn. Much of Eagles Twitter rewriting history and just like, did they not run the football basically for 6 to 8 weeks straight or whatever that was? And yes, Jalen wasn't as good of a passer as he was last year. We all can admit that. The leap that he went from here to what we saw this year in the Super Bowl and all before that is huge. So he evolved. The offense evolved. Smith evolved. Quez Watkins is no longer your 1 or your 2, and he's probably not going to be your 3, which we'll get into in just a moment here, leading into next season. The offense is going to continue to get better from the guy who designed it and ran it. So, again, unless I'm completely mischaracterizing his entire existence in position, nor am I discrediting him for getting the job with the resume he had. He should have, but I don't think he's that good, and I don't think what he's walking into is that good either. So I don't know how how are we going to judge this in the end? I can't blame Shane for the shitty head coaching gig that he's about to crash and burn on simply because the franchise sucks. So how are we supposed to determine this? If the Eagles offense is just as good or better next year, would you be comfortable to say, okay, we gave Shane too much credit?
I don't know if we gave him too much credit or Brian Johnson kicks ass. I just don't know. I mean, they could both be good. Like that's okay.
But we'll never know.
Well, we might not. And long term, I mean, we might look back on all this and go, you know what? All these guys fucking suck. They all suck. It's just what it is. Like that was a bit of the run after they won this. They actually won the Super Bowl in 2017, and we go back and look at that staff and go like, what the hell was any of this? It's all over the place. So I don't know. But just the idea of Sirianni for right now with what they've got going on, I don't think he needs another thing on his plate. Just keep managing on the high end, incorporate new ideas into it, and let it ride. Let Brian Johnson bring whatever he's going to bring.
What you think? Give us a text, 215-509-5833. Or, again, as always, bellandthebirdmen.com. Jump in our Discord. Been having a lot of good conversations and, debates and straight up fights in there. All healthy, by the way, but very much fun. Also, want to tell you, when you go to bellandthebirdmen.com, make sure to click on the old Liquid Death link down there, or simply just go to liquiddeath.com/bell, which is in the description of this podcast and right on YouTube down below, while you're giving us a thumbs up and putting the notifications on and giving us 5 stars on the podcast, because that's what you do. That link gets you 20% off all of their merchandise and tells you where every single 7-Eleven is, because I am already prepping for, Chicago, and Vince is holding up the OG Black Liquid Death sparkling can, which is delicious and nutritious. I got to know where Liquid Death is at all times, simply because it's the best traveling water possible, and it recycles and saves the environment more than any other stupid plastic water bottle that you can try. We've been telling you that for a long time. Go to liquiddeath.com/bell, and you'll be happy with a 16.9 ounce can that murders your absolute thirst. So the other discussion we've been having in the Discord, and it's really about next year. Like, there's just going to be this, I feel like most of us are thinking it's just going to be a very depressing defense and outscoring offense, and that's how it's going to be. I personally don't feel that way. I think there's a lot of moves and maneuvers they could do defensively. I'm still buying defense, but it's crazy to me because the only thing I keep thinking about and the only play I keep rewatching is that Quez Watkins drop, and I'm just going, man, I need a veteran wide receiver 3, and I really don't want to think about it anymore. I am still okay with Taylor's boy. If he ends up getting drafted in the first round, that's Quentin Johnson from TCU, I'm all about it. I would love that kid.
You, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Short term, long term, that kid has it, and don't get the heebie-jeebies of Jalen Reagor in TCU. That is logo scouting. That's bullshit. But outside of that, Vince Quinn, I am seriously considering giving 1-year deals.
Yeah.
To Mac Hollins and Nelson Aguilar. Am I wrong here? Am I so wrong? There's speed, there's special teams, there's returning ability. We don't have to look at Britton Covey anymore. Quez Watkins has dropped more balls than Nelson Aguilar, and we got to accept that fact. And he's been resurrected. He's been doing pretty good. I liked him as the least, non-number 1 or number 2 guy that you could have in this offense. Had a great Super Bowl year. I see him as a slot guy. And I'm okay with another year of Nelson Aguilar. Your thoughts?
Oh, God, you're sick. You're a sick man.
Sick. I'm sick.
Yeah,
but he's better than Quez Watkins.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a low bar. Quez is not
it's
very
wide
good.
Receiver 3.
Yeah, I know, but it's wide receiver 3. I would rather do. I mean, are there any other options other than Aguilar and Quez?
Oh, plenty. There's plenty.
Hollins?
Plenty.
Because God, Aguilar, I can't do it, man. I mean, he's just because part of it is he's not built to play in Philly. He can't handle it. I mean, look, it's just one of those things. Like sometimes, think about this, right? You have certain people that you might know and you haven't seen them in 20 years. And when you catch them again, you kind of go back to who you were back then. You kind of reconnect with something inside of you. And you become that person that you were in high school as you're with that person that you were with in high school. And like to have Nelson Aguilar come back to Philly and not expect him to become some level of the guy that he was here, that's what I think you're going to get. And it's not worth it for anybody. It's not worth it for Aguilar and his career and any money he wants to make. And it's not worth it for the Eagles if you're trying to get a wide receiver 3 that's going to be productive. I have no interest. I think he falls off.
All right. Well, let me give you some other wide receivers that won't make you sick. Maybe. I don't know. The other obvious one that points out to me, and he's probably looking for a long-term deal, that DJ Chark, who signed with the Detroit Lions. The Eagles did have interest early. $10 million he got paid. I'm going to guess there's a little bit of a bump there. You're probably looking at like $12 or $13 million over the next 3 years. I think you could get a 3-year deal with DJ Chark. That gets you his prime years at 26 to 29. Totally open for it. Don't think I'd overpay for him. Your thoughts?
DJ Chark is fine. Yeah, I like him a lot more than I like Aguilar. Part it's just something different. He hasn't played here. Plus, Detroit's offense was good. I mean, and he was a part of that. I mean, they had a major turnaround this year. So yeah, I'd give Chark a look. I liked him in Jacksonville too. So he's a guy that's fun. And it's funny that you say that because like it's $10 million. You know what I mean? Like, and that used to be that was a lot of money, man. But now with the way the market has moved, $10 million for a number 3 guy is not crazy. But that's also why when I'm thinking about this, I mean, obviously I haven't driven into the draft yet because we've been on a Super Bowl run. I don't know if anybody knew that. So I was a little distracted. But like now that we're getting to this point of okay, I can look at draft prospects. I'm excited to see some of these guys in the draft. I mean, honestly, it's probably crazy to draft a guy in the first, but frankly, I don't hate it. I don't. If a guy's good enough that they like, just draft all the receivers. You need depth there. You have 3 that go on the field more often than not, so they're basically a starter. Who cares? And, just anybody they can get in the first couple of rounds to try to develop somebody, because I think they've shifted the strategy ever since they did the Rager pick, and they went through J-Jaw, and it's gotten better. I mean, Quez, say what you want about Quez, the guy's a 6th-round pick that made himself into something. He is an NFL player. He's not a great NFL player, but he's an NFL player. I mean, so their eye has gotten a lot better for all of this. And Chark is fine. I think that's the high end, about as high as I'm willing to go. And then anything else, I'm looking at the draft, man. Find a kid that can start right away in the slot.
How about one for fun? Why not just go and sign Juju Smith-Schuster now?
Oh, God. The number of people that just vomited as you said that.
I think that would be hilarious. After all that, he'd end up being wide receiver 3 with AJ and with Devontae.
Would you actually want him, though?
I think he's, for what he is, yeah. I mean, as long as he's not going to shut his mouth, he's going to troll everybody on Twitter. I like it. If it makes Eli Apple upset, I'm game. I'm in. So, I would be okay with 1 year Juju. Absolutely, I would.
The whole
I think
team
it'd be hilarious.
hates him, though. The whole team hates him. I mean, they would have him at his introductory press conference holding up a TikTok boy jersey. Like,
yeah, he's more of a headache than the play is good. So I don't really see
I'm just saying I'd be open to it. But I'd actually probably take his teammate depending on how the Chiefs feel, and I don't know where it aligns. But Mecole Hardman is the other one that it's a no-brainer. That's actually like what Quez Watkins was supposed to be, and I know he's dealt with. I think, I actually forgot what his injury was, but I know it wasn't great.
Yeah, he
again,
came back
another
at the end
Eagles
of the season, then he tweaked it, and then he was gone again. So.
And again, another Eagles connection, I believe, because this was the infamous draft where the Eagles went with J-Jaw. But Andy jumped up above them to make sure to draft Mecole Hardman because that was rumored that that's what the Eagles wanted to do. That made a lot more sense to me at the time. I actually wouldn't mind it here at all. And again, I'm kind of anti what Vince is saying. Unless you pick that first-round wide receiver, I'm okay with that. To be your wide receiver 3 to develop, but outside of that, I'm sticking with one of these guys, and I would actually welcome with open arms Mecole Hardman because I think he'd be a very interesting, speedy guy for the slot.
All right, well, I mean, Mecole Hardman's fine. It's like I'm not really excited about it, but it's fine. It is your 3rd wide receiver. I don't want to get too obsessed about it. You want a guy that's functional and deep cut. Greg Ward, baby. Just put Greg Ward in there. The guy does nothing but catch touchdowns. I love Greg Ward. Put Greg Ward in there, baby. He's going to be just fine. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, that's okay. It's not inspiring. There's no slam dunk. I don't know if there's any, prime Howie target in there. But those guys work pretty well. And I guess if people have a favorite, hit us up in the Discord text line, 215-509-5833. I wanted to get a running back. And I'll just drop this name because I've dropped it many times before for the trade deadline.
Oh, no.
Jamal Williams, man.
Oh, okay. Yes, I thought you were going to.
Nope, not Marlon Mack. No, I wish.
I was like, please, God, not Marlon Mack.
No, I'm going to let the Marlon thing die this offseason. You're all welcome. But, yeah.
Totally on board.
Jamal Williams, over 1,000 yards. He had 17 rushing touchdowns last season. Goal line, short yardage, all that stuff. It makes a lot of sense. Jalen, during the season, a lot of wear and tear on the body over the years, early in his career, and last year, this year, whatever. I wanted him to run, but you're going to want to start to reduce that a little bit, and having a power guy like Jamal Williams, who's in his prime, he's 27, having him getting involved and taking some of that workload, including in the goal line, I think is a really good thing, which transitions me to my other point here, which is...
Oh, no. You're not going to bring this up, are you?
Oh, of course I'm going to bring this up.
Oh, yeah, my God.
I hate to do it, but it's got to be said. They should ban that quarterback sneak play that the Eagles...
Oh, my God.
They should ban the shit out of that immediately. I mean...
Folks, my head is down. My head is right down on the table.
Look,
why do you want this banned? Why?
Because it's not a football play. It's
oh my God.
It's four guys lining up behind the quarterback and just like push like Patrick Starr is moving Bikini Bottom.
Yes.
Like
it's the football play.
The most football you could get.
It's the Vince Lombardi football. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, it's not a real play. I just, if you want to run a regular quarterback sneak, run a regular quarterback sneak. You've still got a really good conversion rate, and all that is fine with me. But on some level, it's like the old extra point when they were kicking off at the 2 or whatever it was, like, or the 7, whatever. When they were doing that, it was like, oh, it's a 92, 93% conversion rate. It's dumb.
99, I think.
So it was incredibly high. If the quarterback sneak is anything close to what Kelsey had said during the season, where he's like, yeah, like 92% chance we're gonna run it through your throat, it's a broken play. I mean, it's indefensible within 4th and 1. There's no risk involved. It's not really a thing.
Hold on. Vince Quinn, anybody can run that shit. Why are the Eagles the only one running it?
I don't know. A lot of teams are really stupid, is what I've heard. They're very dumb.
I would rather have 32 teams try to pick up the 4th and 1 push than try and make this illegal. And in fact, I would dare them to do it, because you want to know why the Eagles are good at it? The obvious reason: the front 5 guys that are pushing the sled, duh. But number 2, Jalen Hurts' legs also are a major factor during all of that. And if you need the extra push from Goddard or Boston Scott or Miles or whoever's back there, who cares? That's part of football. Then you better design something to fucking stop it. That otherwise, it's a yard. Stop it,
Yeah, but it's not part of football anywhere else. It's a part of rugby. It's a rugby play.
There's the extra point.
Well, the extra point's not a football play either. They should just get rid of that. But
get rid of everything. Just get rid of everything that might look like rugby or soccer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not. I'd be fine with that. It's not. They're trying to get rid of kickoffs. Forget it. Why not? Let's just start at the 25 and we'll just play football. Fine.
That I'm okay with. Honestly, I would get rid of the kickoffs.
Play football. It's not on any other offensive play of any kind where you're just pushing a guy forward. And like for the Eagles, they would convert a ton of these anyway because they believe in the line, and Jalen is a good sneaky quarterback. Tom Brady wasn't a powerful guy. He knew the lanes. He could always read it, and he was able to get the conversions. It's just one of those things where I get that they did it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it in the way that it wasn't illegal, and they were smart enough to come up with it. So that's innovating. Like, it's innovating to the point where you've done something that's broken, but it's a broken thing. And if I was in the league, I'd have a real conversation about banning that play.
It's the Chat GPT of football plays. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes. Without all the weird self-realizations of robots that can think for themselves and all the weird feelings it's spouting out now. But outside of that,
I gotta get this out, Vince, because it's really bugging me that you want this. But you could have the defense can choose to have 10 dudes lined up on the line if they wanted to. They have not chosen that once because they'll think they'll get burned deep or whatever it is. They do not stack the box to stop that play. They give up. They already know they're not going to stop it by any means. They're going to line up like they're in a goal line defense. They're going to shrug their shoulders and be like, oh, well, let's stop them on the next 1st and 10. Like you just, it's not like they have a choice to defend that play, and they say, no, thank you. They have a choice. They could disrupt it. You could fill every gap along the way, and 11 guys push back on that front, and you could say, fuck off, good luck, but they don't. They do not do that.
If people are quitting, it's because it's a broken play and there's no reason to defend it because it's broken.
No, it's because 1 yard is not as valuable as a touchdown or whatever they're scared of. So they're saying, fine, we're on to the next series.
All those scenarios, though. It's 4th down.
Then stop them. Then line up 11 dudes and stop the play. If you're so worried about converting the 4th and 1.
Some teams do try, but that's why they're offside all the time, because these guys have to have their helmets in the backfield to try to prevent the momentum of the push of 4 guys behind the center that are pushing him forward. Like, it's
if you get moved 1 inch off of the ball, you're going to lose that play 92% of the time. As Jason Kelsey says, You're talking about yardage. If it's 4th and 2 and you want them to do it, then the defense has a chance. 4th and 3, then the defense has a chance. 4th and 1, sorry, the Eagles are better. Fuck off. That's it.
Yeah, well, they are better, and they don't even need to do it. That's the thing. It's like I don't think they need to do that to convert a bunch of quarterback sneaks anyway, so it's not going to really hurt them that much, but there should be more of a risk if you're going for it in that spot, and there just isn't. It's too easy. The fact that other teams are doing it, it's on them, and I'll guarantee you that if it's not banned, everybody's doing it next year, and then maybe that'll change my mind if all the teams do it and enough of them suck at it, and they can't even convert it a 50% clip. But until I see that right now, it looks like a broken play to me, and they should really talk about banning it.
Taylor Kredatus, nope. I thought I was going to have the worst take of the week, and there's Vince Quinn saving my hind just before the weekend.
Who's going to be complaining to ban it? Like
Vince Quinn, apparently.
Like what coach is going to complain about this?
I don't know. There'll be a rule. There'll be a proposed rule, don't you think, Vince?
Maybe. I saw whispers of it during the season, and initially I didn't think much of it. I was like, I don't know. They're just sneaking the ball. It's not that big a deal. But when you're getting that push and there's not really a good counter to it on the other side, I mean, the only thing you could do is, like, if you're thinking of a realistic counter to that play that a defense could draw up, first off, you're going to put every guy in the middle of the defense fine. You're going to stack the line. Second thing is, you're going to like Troy Polamalu this every single time where you're screaming, diving up over the line of scrimmage to try to hit this guy over the pile and push him backwards. Like, that's the
but Vince Quinn, if you don't want a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 scenario, fucking stop him, get a sack or a tackle for loss on 1st or 2nd or 3rd down. Not the Eagles' problem. Not a broken play. That's football. That's just football.
I don't. There's nothing else like that play anywhere in any playbook. It's not football.
Even if they banned it, there's going to be some goofy way to get around it, which is going to make it even worse. Like, people aren't just going to let it go. Like, they're going to find a workaround it.
Yeah, what do you want judgmental calls on what is and isn't legal in a fucking goal line scrum?
Just
Good Lord. Need. Oh, that is the last thing we need, Vince Quinn.
Yep, sorry. That's what I want. I think it's worth a good discussion.
Well, as always, bellthebirdmen.com. Jump in the Discord. Send us a text, 215-509-5833. Taylor Kredatus, I'm going to leave you with the final thoughts because I think I've said my piece and I don't want anything else coming out of Vince's mouth.
I think this topped the momentum argument we had a year ago.
Which, by the way, all that momentum really helped the fucking 49ers, huh? Okay, all right. All that momentum really helped the Giants. Okay, all right. All right. All that momentum really helped the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, all right. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Anyway.
Still don't understand momentum.
In-game momentum. It really matters. It's not fucking coaches fucking up. Yeah. So that will do it for Bell and the Birdmen. And I love you guys so much. This is what makes this show great. 215-509-5833. bellthebirdmen.com. We will see you next week with more free agent talk. Okay, bye.